Hello everybody, Austin here, rock on, and today we are continuing our How to Become a Beast in Pokemon Unite series, and as you can see, we are talking about Blastoise today, our amazing powerhouse defender. So yeah, basically in this video, we'll be going over the best builds, the best items, we'll be breaking down each move one by one so that we'll know how to use each move effectively. And yeah, before we start the video, if I would appreciate it if you find anything that I say valuable to give it a like I said, I would really appreciate that. And let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into the video. Alright, so let's talk about Blastoise. Blastoise is an awesome powerhouse defender with really high DPS skills. He has a lot of HP, okay? He does a lot of damage with ranged attacks because he is a ranged defender. The only really downside for Blastoise is that a lot of his moves, typically they have longer cooldowns. I think Surf's like a 12-second cooldown. Don't hold me to it, but yeah, if I'm wrong, I'll definitely correct myself with some text up here. So if you don't see any text, I'm right on the cooldown. And yeah, so if you're new to Pokemon Unite, and you know, let's say this is one of the first videos that you've ever watched, or maybe you're new to playing with a defender, basically the whole role and objective of a defender is to protect your team's goals and protect your teammates. So how do you protect your teammates? Basically, let's say that you're partnering up with Pikachu. Alright, Pikachu has low endurance, and Pikachu, you see that Pikachu's getting his butt kicked, you know? You see that little Pikachu over here is getting beat up by, let's say, some kind of Snorlax, right? You're going to want to hop in there and take some damage from Pikachu so Pikachu can get away and retrieve some health. So yeah, Blastoise, he has very high HP, like I said, very tanky, so he can do things like that. So yeah, really you just want to, like, you know, stay around your goals, and you don't want to, like, really, you don't have to focus on scoring too much when you play as a defender. You're gonna want to leave that to your attackers, alright? But let's say that, you know, your balls are full, you know, and you need to score. If you see a good opportunity to where you can score and then get back to your team's goal, then yeah, feel free to do so, obviously. But yeah, I really like Blastoise, and probably because I really liked Slowbro, if you guys have seen my Slowbro guide. Blastoise and Slowbro, they're a lot alike. They're very similar. They have a lot of the same moves. Blastoise, he has Water Gun, so does Slowbro. Blastoise also has Surf, so does Slowbro. So let's go ahead and break down Blastoise's moves. We'll start with Blastoise's basic attack. Now with Blastoise's basic attack, he shoots out kind of like a sprout of water, and on the third attack, the water is boosted. Alright, the move is boosted, and it's pretty cool, like, how it's boosted. So like it kind of shoots out like two little sprouts, like one sprout, you know, two sprout, and then on the third one it's like this big long sprout, right? Almost looks kind of like a water gun, kind of, but it's not though. And since it is boosted on the third attack and having a longer range, it also does more damage. So let's go ahead and talk about Blastoise's passive ability. Alright, Blastoise has a pretty solid passive ability. Basically, how that works is Blastoise, whenever he gets down to half HP or less, his attack and his special attack are boosted and they do more damage. Alright, so let's talk about the early game moves, alright? And we'll start with Water Gun. So with Water Gun, basically it attacks the enemy with a shot of water while decreasing their movement. It also shoves the enemy back a little bit, so it's good for like control, crowd control. And the other early game move that you get to choose from, you actually unlock both these moves relatively quickly, and it's really good that you do because these moves, they work so well together. It's like peanut butter and jelly by how well they work together. The second move that we're going to talk about is called Skull Bash. And with Skull Bash, basically you charge right into the enemy, you ram them, and you leave them unable to act. Basically you stun them. Alright, so which one of these early game moves did you choose? Well, you know, like I said, you lock them both pretty relatively early. If I had to pick, I'd probably choose Water Gun just because it makes it a lot easier to steal wild Pokemon. Basically, what I like to do is I like to use Water Gun to shove the enemy far away, and then I'll use like Skull Bash to like charge right in front of them. A lot of times I get a really easy KO when I do that. Obviously, it kind of depends on like how much HP they have and how strong the Pokemon is. If you're battling up a Pokemon who's like a lot stronger than you are, who has a lot more endurance, it might not work as well as like a Pokemon who is a lot weaker, obviously. Alright, so let's talk about the mid-game moves, and we'll first start with Hydro Pump. And in my opinion, Hydro Pump kind of feels like a more powerful version of Water Gun. Alright, it shoots out a large body of water, pushes your enemies far away. It's really good for crowd control, really good for like, let's say like, you know, enemies are coming up on your teammate, you can just push the enemies away so they won't hurt your teammate. It's a good move for that as well. And since the body of water that shoots out is like a large body of water, it can work on multiple enemies. And what's really interesting about Hydro Pump is that whenever you use it, let's say you do use it on multiple enemies, right? The enemy that gets knocked back the furthest will actually be stunned for a brief moment. And Hydro Pump is also a really good move for mobility. Since it does knock the Pokemon away from you, you can use it to kind of like disengage from fights. It really just slows them down, you know? And Water Spout over here is a pretty cool move. Basically, it's like an aerial attack of water that comes down on the enemy. It spouts out water, and you can aim and pick a designated area to use this move. This move also works on multiple enemies, and this move does have an area of effect. Alright, so let's talk about the late game moves now. And Surf is another late game move, and it does have a cooldown of 12 seconds, so I was right about that. Basically, whenever you use Surf, you charge at the enemies by surfing on a huge wave, and basically this wave comes crashing down on the enemies. It also stuns the opponent. And you also become immune to hindrances as well while using this move. It's really a great move overall. Like I said, the only downside of this move is really the long cooldown. And really, like, you gotta be careful when you're aiming with Surf. It can be a little difficult to aim sometimes. Alright, so on to Rapid Spin. And Rapid Spin's a pretty cool move. Basically, whenever you use the move Rapid Spin, Blastoise goes into his little shell. He starts like spinning around rapidly. And while he's spinning, you can shoot out these water bullets out of your shell by using the basic attack button. So you're like using your basic attack while inside your shell, which is pretty interesting. And here's a little pro tip. So make sure while you're using this move that you hold down the basic attack button so it keeps going. I feel like it works better than tapping the button instead, so just make sure you hold it down. And another really cool thing about this move is, while you're in your shell, it basically acts as a shield, so the enemies can't really do much to you while you're in your shell. It's pretty cool, because like you could chase the enemies while they're running into their inner goalpost, and they can't really do anything to you, so there's a good chance that you'll be effective and you'll get some KOs. And this move also really goes well with Water Spout. This combo does a lot of damage, and the best part is that once you're done using one move, your other moves like the cooldown will be ending, probably already ended, and you kind of just keep doing it, you know? So which move should you choose late game? Well, this really depends on like what kind of playstyle and build that you're going after. If you want to play more as a traditional defender role that can push, protect, and do some crowd control, probably going to want to go with the Surf and Hydro Pump build. Now, if you want to play more of an offensive defender that basically turns Blastoise into a DPS machine, then I would go with Water Spout and Rapid Spin. Now, there are probably more builds that you can do with Blastoise. I've just found these builds to work best for me. Feel free to kind of like experiment around a little bit and try different builds out. Alright, so now let's talk about Blastoise's Unite move, Hydro Typhoon. Basically, Blastoise, he goes into his little shell, fires out little water rockets at everything around you. And while you're in your Unite move, while you're doing this move, you are shielded and protected during all times. This move is kind of like Water Spout and Rapid Spin together on steroids. It's pretty cool. It's a cool Unite move. And another thing about this Unite move is that it works really well around large group battles, I feel like it's best to save it for large group battles. Blastoise's Unite move also has a lot of range. To kind of give you an idea of how much range this move has, it will cover the entire Zapdos area. Now let's talk about the best held items to use for Blastoise. I'm currently running Focus Band, Muscle Band, and Wise Glasses. And the reason why I like Focus Band is because it helps Blastoise out by making the opponents harder to knock you out. Because when you have Focus Band equipped, while Blastoise has low health, he'll recover some lost HP every few seconds. So I do feel like Focus Band makes Blastoise more tanky. And Wise Glasses just increases Blastoise's special attack. So I feel like it's good for, you know, if you're going for more of like an offensive build with Blastoise. And I also like using Muscle Band for Blastoise just because Muscle Band will increase basic attacks. And you know, when Blastoise is going his little rapid spin and you're firing off basic attacks, ideally, you know, Muscle Band would increase the damage for that. Now, I've also heard of people using Score Shield with Blastoise, and people were also using, where is it at? Buddy Barrier with Blastoise. As you can see, you know, I don't have any experience using these items, so I can't say, you know, if they're any good with Blastoise or not. I've just heard people use them, and they say it works really well for them, so that's another thing to keep in mind. And so now for the best battle items. Now, I'm going to be biased on this. I use eject button for like everything just because I like it a lot. It works well for me. It's such a useful battle item because it helps you get away from uncomfortable situations. You guys don't know how many times the eject button has saved my life. I'm getting like triple team or like ganged up. Eject button will just help me so much, just, you know, get away from that fight. So yeah, guys, that'll be about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you like using with Blastoise. Peace out.